In the year 2019, Stephen Rwangyezi, the proprietor and the owner of Ndere Center Ltd, took out a loan facility of shillings 6.8 billion from Uganda Devt Bank, which is 100% owned by the government of Uganda. Today, barely 5 years later, the loan has grown to 10.5 billion. The bank has moved into foreclosure, and as we talk right now, the owner of the business has less than 30 days within which to pay up the 10.5 billion or else loses property and entire business. This is a business to which he has dedicated much of his adult life, and it's all he has been doing since the year 1984. It's really painful and a saddening story. Yet Mr. Rwangyezi is just one of the many, because this anomaly of banks foreclosing and controversially taking over people's property has lately become commonplace in Museveni's Uganda. The impending foreclosure regarding the case of Ndere Center Ltd has generated plenty of public debate and concern, largely because Mr. Rwangyezi has refused to be cowed into silence and has chosen to go down fighting. The other cause of alarm among many people in Uganda is the fact that Mr. Rwangyezi's property at Ndere Center, where we're speaking to you right now from, is valued at more than 120 billion, yet the bank wants to take the whole of it over mere 10.5 billion. Where is the fairness, gentlemen and ladies? This Thursday morning, we, as Mlengera Media YouTube channel, are privileged to be here at Ndere Center in Kisasi to have an exclusive interview with the man himself, Mr. Stephen Rwangyezi. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation. Now, first things first, sir. Can you briefly tell us what exactly happened? When did you take out this loan from UDB, and what was the money for?
Thank you very much, my friend. Our viewers, as he said, I'm Rwangyezi Stephen. I'm the one who started Ndere way back in 1984. And my goal in starting Ndere was to create a liberation process, to liberate our culture, to liberate our indigenous civilization from being completely wiped out by colonialism. So for the last 40 years, I've been working specifically on making sure that our music, our dance, our food, our architecture, our medicine, our stories, are brought into modern times and celebrated to give our identity a sense of pride. So you notice two things. That A, after 40 years, I'm not growing younger. I need to find ways to sustain this dream, because for the 40 years I have had Ndere, I do many other income generating activities to sustain the cultural work. So I have to look for ways to continue generating money in order for the cultural work to continue, even when I'm not there. Number two, the research, documentation, teaching, directing, and leading the performances are always done by me. What about when I'm not there? So after seeing the success of Ndere Center in the cultural tourism, and after making very careful calculations of how we can expand, how we can generate income from related businesses, I borrowed money from Uganda Devt Bank to build 2 tourist facilities. one resort in Kisoro on the northern shores of Lake Mutanda, one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. And then another one, a hotel in Bulenga here on top of the Nakabugo Hill. Yeah, on top of the Nakabugo Hill. So we gave the bank our proposal, we gave them our projections.
It's a process.
Yes. And we clearly knew that if we completed the construction in the planned time, within the planned budget, and started operating the facilities, there was no way we could fail to pay. So we got the first installment of money at the end of 2019. And the rest came in 2020 and 2021. But as we all know, that is when COVID hit. And when COVID hit us, 3 disasters happened. Number one, the construction, which was in Kisoro and Bulenga. While government said the construction activities could go on, the architect, the engineer, the proprietor were in Kampala. People are in Kisoro. The site is open. But this architect has been caught by COVID and lockdown in Kampala. He can't travel, he can't supervise. Our designs, because they are based on the indigenous traditional architecture, the young builders have no idea how to build them. So they were there building without the supervision. And when you went there, you'd find they have made so many mistakes. You demolish, you go back again. But in that same time, by the time we started construction, a bag of cement was 17,000.
Yes. This is 2019.
Yes.
17,000.
And it quickly shot to 32 to 37. So the amount of money you put in the bills of quantities and submitted to the bank changes. So we could not complete the construction. The money got finished. We went back to the bank and said, look, because of the COVID problems, this is how far we have gone. To complete, we would need an extra this. Can you top up so that when we complete, there is better value? Even if you were to sell, it's not the same as having incomplete structures which don't bring income into our cash flow and which you can't even sell. They refused to add. But the second thing that happened was that Ndere Center, which was now the only milking cow, closed during COVID. We closed for 3 years. We only reopened in January 2023. You know, 2020, 2021, 2022, those are 3 complete years. By the time we started to, yes. But you see, when you look at our site, it is, we left nature. If you leave this site for 3 years, it's a forest. By the time we came back, it was a forest. Wildlife was thriving here, whether they were snakes, rats, monkeys, and all the buildings were in total disrepair. You know, if you have not been using a drum for 3 years, when you come back, the drum is gone. Everything was damaged. We had to renovate the place. We had to purchase new equipment. Number 3, the Ndere troop. By the time COVID hit, we were 81 artists.
In the group.
Yes. Now all those left.
They are scattered by that time.
Yes. By the time we said let's get back together,
The group.
you couldn't find anybody. And those who were still available for 3 years had not done a single exercise. They couldn't dance. So we had to recruit, retrain afresh, re-equip, whether it was a costume, whether it was a drum, whether it was a microphone. Things had to be replaced. So you have incomplete structures. You have a center that is dilapidated. You have a troop that is in disarray. We contemplated closing.
The entire business.
Yes, but for me, Ndere is not a business, it's a mission. To restore it would have lost the mission. So we chose to reopen. I had to look
With
for
the difficulties.
money, very serious difficulties. So I went back to the bank and told them, look, you have refused to give us money, top up and complete.
The sites.
Yes. At least you restructure the loan. Because in that period, the loan was accumulating interest.
For 3 years, they continued counting.
Yes.
Yet the project
And
said stop.
it was not only accumulating interest, it was now accumulating penalties.
Yes, because of non-payment.
Yes. So we said, please remove the penalties, restructure the interest and make it part of the capital. And then we start, give us 1 year of grace, and then we start afresh. They refuse.
A reasonable demand.
They refuse. And that is how, in less than 4 years, the thing has grown from 6.8 billion to 10.5. And remember now we are talking of the UDB rate, which is not the commercial bank rate.
Which is supposed to be lower.
Lower. But it has still grown because of the interest and penalties. That's really what happened.
What was the interest, sir?
12%.
12%.
Yes.
It has remained that
Yes.
for 5 years.
Yes.
But still it has
12% plus
the principal.
the penalties added on the principal. Now, by the time they moved to foreclosure, we had stabilized. This center was well rehabilitated. The troop was back in form.
Business was coming.
Yes, and we had already gone back to doing 3 shows a week, which was the pre-COVID routine. And we had started, therefore, making some installments. For 3 months we paid 20 million, then
60.
Last month we paid 30.
To become 70.
It was 90.
90.
Oh yeah, 70, you are right. And we were going to put another 30 last Monday when they advertised on Thursday. Because for them now, the only way to discuss this or to reopen any discussion is either paying the whole sum and then they can discuss whether they can remove some of the penalties, or paying all the arrears or 30% of the total. But of course, 30% is about 4 billion. I don't have that money. That's the situation. Yeah.
So have you considered getting another bank maybe to buy the loan, or they are the cheapest on the market?
There are 2 things. Banks don't like buying loans from others.
Okay.
Because they are always wondering, if you fail to pay this one, will you be able to pay us? But secondly, the other commercial banks, the interests are higher.
Higher, correct.
So it's
UDB
like
is the cheapest you can find.
Yeah, it's like jumping from the frying pan into the fire.
So what's the situation like at Mityana Road and Kisoro currently?
Mityana Road, we have gone up to 2nd floor of the hotel, because it's supposed to be 4 floors. There are 64 rooms. So we had taken the building up to the 2nd floor. In Kisoro, we have now managed from our own resources to complete phase 1. Now it is open. The first 8 rooms are now operational. We've mobilized some money and completed, because it was also getting destroyed by misuse, disuse. So that one now is complete. The other of 9 rooms is still pending, but the phase 1 is now ready to work.
Then the way you had projected your thing from the beginning, Chisoro, Leke, Mutanda, I can imagine how you anticipated the business, where you anticipated to come from, the tourists and what.
Yes.
This Mitiana Road, how did you anticipate business?
You see, when you look at our...
Who were you targeting?
When you look at our operations here at Ndere Center, if you come to our shows, you'll find that 70 to 80% of the people in the audience are international guests. Yes.
80%?
Yes. So, our plan was we entered into the tourism sector through the cultural tourism. The hotel we are doing in Bira is designed basing on the cultural architecture. None of the other hotels here
has something similar.
Designed like that. Just like no other place is a cultural center like this one. So our target was people who come here
after performances,
they should stay in our place. And remember now, here we are on the northern bypass. The northern bypass links to expressway to Entebbe, and you just need a little turn on Mitiana Road or Sentema Road, and you'll be there. It's a beautiful site on top of a very, very beautiful hill. When you are there, you overlook the entire Kampala.
The entire Kampala is down.
Yes. So we are looking at people coming here. We take them to sleep there. We have a nice ambience, beautiful Ugandan food, and then put them in a vehicle heading to Kisoro, to our own facility, where you access the gorillas and the lake activities. So it's a chain, and our itinerary, including the entertainment, the accommodation, the gorilla activities, the lake Mburo, we wanted to give a guest a week or 10 days experience through the binoculars of our cultural heritage. Yes.
Means that without COVID, you were sure really it was going to work out.
Absolutely, because our projections were based on 25% occupancy.
At Bira?
No, throughout.
For the 3 facilities.
Yes. We said, supposing we only get 25 people in a month.
In each?
Yes, only 25 in a month. How would the incomes be?
Yes.
And the calculations showed that even at 25% occupancy, we would be able to pay the loan and still be able to operate. Now, definitely we will be operating above the 25%.
Above, it was just a minimum.
We put it at the worst case scenario.
Yes.
So we had no doubt that we would succeed. And we were basing it on what we have been doing here. We know the facts.
The facts.
Yeah.
And the bank also looked at that proposal, and
that is where they best
it looked viable.
Yes. That's where they best.
So you involved the technical people to do the financials and the
course.
lawyers too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Although I am in the dancing, my profession is economics. I am an economist by education. So I'm not just venturing into things without calculations. But also, I don't just do it myself. I understand it, but I get the experts to do it correctly. Yes, to do it correctly.
If you've talked about the 10.5 billion to which it has now grown, is it possible to know how much of this is interest, is principal, and penalty?
Well, all I can say for now is that the principal is 6.8.
Okay.
the interest and the penalties are the ones which add on the 6.8 to become 10.5. I don't have the division between interest and penalties.
Correct.
But you may find that with the interest you come to about 8 billion and the other 2.5 are penalties. Yeah.
It's real and fair. Do you know of colleagues who took out facility during that same period and how their experience has ended?
No, I don't. I concentrate on what I do.
On yours?
Yes.
Okay. Did you expect better, this being a government bank?
The reason I went to UDB
And not any other?
was what I do, as I told you, is a mission.
Long term.
I'm looking at Uganda in the next 50, 100 years. I will not be here. But the reason I do what I do is that I should leave behind what our children should start from. So I was looking at a bank that is interested in the long term. What will Uganda look like 50 years from now? If it will not have a language, if it will not have music, if it will not have its own food, if it will not have its own fashion and dress, if all the buildings will look like Barcelona, will it be called Uganda? So I was expecting and hoping that the UDB are interested in this long-term situation of Uganda.
Which no commercial bank can be
Commercial
interested
banks
in.
have no interest in
Such.
Yes.
Correct.
But I was also, I had not anticipated, but looking back, I would expect that the UDB would understand better these natural calamities like COVID and look for ways to
Facilitate
the people who are working to make things happen. I would also expect that UDB would be more interested in the survival of the business than killing and recovering money. Because when you, it's like the fatalistic story of Jipir and Labong.
The spear.
Yes, the kid who swallowed the bead, and the only solution the brother had was to cut the kid's belly and remove the bead. He could have waited until the kid went to the toilet, and you'd get the bead. Just give a little time, let the kid go to the toilet, the bead would come out, you get your bead, and the kid would survive. But
it becomes a win-win.
Yes, but for him, because he was in a vengeance mode, because the other one had thrown his spear and the elephant had taken it, instead of looking at other solutions to solve the problem, his anger overwhelmed him and the kid was killed. And the two brothers parted company, and up to now some live in West Nile, others live in Acholi. So I think that I was looking at UDB as a bank that would be looking for solutions to keep the businesses alive, as opposed to a commercial bank that is looking for its income no matter what happens to the business. Yeah.
Had you had a relationship before with UDB, or this was the first
This
engagement?
This was the first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So had you had any other loan for your business?
I used to borrow from banks, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
I used to borrow from banks. I used to borrow from money lenders.
Like which bank, sir?
Like Bank of Africa, Stanbic Bank. I borrowed a lot from
Foreign
money
banks.
lenders. Yes.
And they treated you better.
Yes.
Than your own.
Well, I paid. But I always had good and amicable discussions. We many times restructured, we many times postponed. Yeah, they never sold us. No.
I imagine you had so many discussions, many engagements with teams from UDB.
Yes.
Do you feel betrayed? Are there things they said to you which they have reneged upon, where they have not kept their word?
I try not to be emotional.
Yes.
Because when you become emotional, you lose reason.
Yes.
I try not to pass judgment. I guess they are also doing their work. They have a policy to follow. They have. The only thing I feel is that they probably could have gone to their bosses
The
and
shareholders, the board.
and presented my
This
case in a
Humanitarian
way that would,
grounds.
yes, they probably would have explored different options. For example, they could have said, okay, we are going to put a collector at your business. Every money you get, this percentage comes here, you keep this for operations. I think that if we had tried to explore the different options together, I think we would have found a solution. Yeah.
Now, sir, how much land do you have here?
Yeah, in your introduction you said 20 acres, which is not true.
Okay.
The 20 acres is an estimate of here, Bira, and Kisoro.
The 3 locations.
Yes. Here is 8.7 acres. It used to be 9, but the northern bypass took off about 0.3 of an acre.
And they give you compensation.
Yeah, they paid, but you see the Ugandan valuation is very strange. They said this is empty land. They look at land with buildings as being more valuable. And when you have left beautiful gardens and trees and everything, for them that is empty.
Okay.
So the rates are lower than if you had a kiosk there. Yes.
What's the value of that, according to your valuation?
There are 3 things to consider. 1, you can consider the value of an acre. 2, you can consider the location of this place on the northern bypass. And 3, you can consider the reputation that Ndere has brought to this place, that anybody in the world now knows about this place. Now, the last time when we were asking for top-up, they asked their bank valuer to come and put value to this, and he put it at 33 billion, the bank value.
This is their own report.
Yes. When we were borrowing in 2019, it was 22. Now, by the time they valued it again about 1.5 years ago, and with all the things we had done, it was 33. Now, if we take that being bank valuation, not usual valuation, then you probably could talk of 40 to 50 billion on the market.
You are yet to do your own valuation.
We haven't done that.
Okay.
Because we are not in a hurry to sell. Our intention has never been to sell. Yeah.
This is freehold.
No, it's leasehold. We lease it from the Kampala Archdiocese.
The church.
Yes.
Catholic.
Yes, Catholic. But we leased it for 99 years, and we have only used 25. Yeah.
25. You have 70 something.
74. Yes.
That's huge.
Yes. It's as good as freehold.
Freehold.
Yeah.
Did you have intentions of converting it to freehold at some point? Long term still.
I think the Catholic Church has a different policy, and so I was not particularly bothered, as long as our contract is respected. I was not in a hurry to go into this.
So what was here before it
Nothing,
became Ndere?
Nothing.
It was a forest.
It was people were growing. You know, when I was coming to buy this place, everyone laughed at me because Kampala at that time was stopping at the golf course. Kololo was residence, yes. Kamocha was a slum. And when I said I was coming here to put a cultural center, I had not even known the Northern Bypass was passing here. Everybody laughed at me because this was just a den of thieves. All the thieves were hiding in here. There was, I think, down here, some burial ground. People were just growing potatoes and cassava. And no one ever thought that it could be this valuable. But for me, A, I was looking for land that was together and big.
Consolidated in one piece.
Yes. B, I was absolutely sure that the way Uganda was growing, the town would expand and pass. And C, when I look at Uganda, everybody is thinking about concrete, shopping malls, apartments. You know, there is a report that came out recently that Ugandan 40-something% were mentally ill. When you live in this concrete jungle, in the hustle and bustle of borders and taxis and people running over you, you cannot fail to run mad. Other countries spare very prime land and leave them as parks. The New York Park, the Trafalgar Square, they leave places where people can go and unwind. And I was looking at Kampala and not seeing anyone thinking in that direction. So I said, if we put it out of the town, not too far, people will still come there, relax, and it will be the only place where people can unwind. And indeed, just look at the entire city now. That's what is happening. Yeah.
This was 1984.
No.
You were able to see far.
1984 is when I started Ndere, but buying this land, I started looking for it in 1994, and I got it in 1999. And there had been so many offers, but not meeting those criteria.
How did you find this one? Was it through a broker? Was it through a priest? Was it through...
No, someone... actually, what happened was someone told me about it. We went and talked to the Archbishop, Kampala Archbishop.
Then Cardinal Wamala.
Yes, they agreed to sell it to us. Then somehow, some people changed it, and they said they are no longer selling, but they sold it to someone else. So we had now to buy it from a third party.
Not from the church directly.
No, we had to buy the lease and then transferred it. Yeah.
You regularized it later.
Yes.
So are you yourself a Catholic?
No, that was one of the reasons why they had refused.
Maybe there was a committee there.
Well, but originally when we went there, the Archbishop knew that I was not Catholic.
You met him personally?
Yes, many times. Many times. Yes, many times. But he looked at my vision and he appreciated it.
Okay.
But some people went around, he's not a Catholic, he's not a Muganda, he's not... we want to use the place for the burial of priests.
No, that was the original plan for the church.
With some people, not really the church, no. But for me, you see, the church, whether it is Catholic, Protestant, Islam, first of all, they are all foreign religions. But the most important thing is that we are Ugandans, we are Africans. We need something that talks our heritage, that talks our identity. All others are secondary.
So the one who acquired it from, didn't he eventually regret when he saw things change?
No, he made more money.
Oh, from you?
Yes, he made more money, a lot.
I see.
The land the price went 3 times as high. Yeah.
What was?
I think, people speculate.
Okay.
There are many people who buy properties for
And
resale. Yeah. I think that was
Is
part
he
of
still alive?
Oh, yeah. He's a good friend of mine.
But you wouldn't want to disclose.
No, why? Why put him into
It's
this?
all right.
No,
It's all right.
near, on Entebbe Road, where Mildmay Hospital is,
Yes.
that was option 1. Then there was another plot behind Faculty of Zoology in Makerere.
Hey, is there land there?
Now it's gone, but it was there.
It was for Makere or private?
No, private. Then there was another one which is still there, I think, but it became controversial on Katalemwa Road, Naguru. I think up to now it's there with a lot of conflicts. Those were the biggest chunks that we looked at. The others were not.
Were they as big as this?
By then, Lubowa had quite a bit of land, yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Where Mildmay Hospital is, that was the land we wanted to buy.
Okay.
But they beat us in price.
Somebody else took it.
Mildmay Hospital took it.
Oh, that very
Yes,
location.
that very location.
Oh.
We had actually bought a piece where there is a fuel station below Mildmay, a green
Yes, yes.
with a lot of stones
Mogas, I
around
think
it.
it's called Mogas.
I don't know.
And
That was the first plot we bought, but it was too small, so we wanted to add on to go up the hill. But Mildmay offered more money to the people who were selling.
Yeah, Bazungus, they must
Yes.
have had dollars.
Yes.
Now, Stephen, because there are 3 locations, is the bank looking at the 3 or they are
Yes,
only
they're
interested?
advertising all of them.
For 10 billion?
Yes.
What's the value for Bira, according to their report?
No, they have not given us any valuation. I've talked about the valuation of here because when we wanted to increase the loan,
Yes.
they had to revalue this one.
You can see it's obviously very unfair. So they are looking at 3 properties, not only this one. Yet
Obviously.
their 10 billion can come just from out of here
Yeah, but you see,
and have balance.
when you are getting a loan, the security that a development loan, number one, you put a security that is big enough to secure the loan.
Yes.
But number two, the areas which you are going to develop, where the money is going, are also attached. Yeah, that's the principle of these banks. You secure with a substantial property, but yes, but where the money is going is also attached. So when it comes to selling, they advertise everything. Yeah.
The idea is that they take off their 10, then they give the balance to you.
If they sell fairly, because with these auctions,
They might even sell all of them and they say,
and say the money was not enough.
or they say you sell if you think it's easy sell and they give us
They always give you the first option. But at that time, no one wants to buy from you. Everybody wants to go to the auctioneer because they think they can bring the prices down. They can influence the price. Yeah.
So, and it's so
Oh, so as now we have been expanding it. Maybe it's about 17.
acres.
Yes.
So this business, is it a sole proprietorship or it's beyond you? Is it only you?
The people that I have brought up in Ndere, some of them are the shareholders. I bring them up, I take them to school, I work with them, then I give them shares. Yeah.
So do you have some correspondences between you and the bank?
Of course I do.
A lot of it.
Yes, of course. Everything was documented.
Okay.
All the requests were written down. We didn't just go to ask verbally. No.
Who has been your contact person?
There are 2 people. There is a man called Dennis Chiza. Then there is another one called Sam, who is the credit manager. Those are the people that we have dealt with. But we have even talked to
The management.
the ED.
Patricia.
Yes, we have talked to them.
You've had meetings?
Yeah.
What is she saying?
Pay.
Her hands are tied.
Pay.
You know they are supervised even by the Minister of Finance. Have you made
No,
effort to speak to the minister
I don't.
through the body?
I don't know. I mean, you see, I don't know the structures, but I don't think it's regulated by Bank of Uganda. No,
That's what you've discovered.
it's not. But also I mean, when you are dealing with someone, you don't simply jump them and go to their bosses. Because what does it mean? That the other one is not doing their work?
What have you learned so far from this experience with the UDB loan? Do you, for instance, regret and wish you didn't take it up at all?
No, I don't regret, because I did it with good intentions. I did it with good calculations. Normally, in business, you take risks, but calculated risks. I had taken calculated risks. COVID-19, it was not anything I could have put in my calculations. So the only regrettable thing is the lack of understanding of the difficulties that were brought by COVID-19. Everybody, when you talk to the officials, they say, but all other businesses have resumed paying, why not you? But if someone is selling Coca-Cola or airtime, it's not the same as if I'm training and presenting dancers. When you are doing live performances, your costs are not the same as the artists who record in a studio and go with a flash and plug it in the machines and mime over them. So the appreciation and understanding of what we do, the lack of appreciation and understanding of what we do, and to understand that the impact of COVID on us is not the same as the impact of COVID on Coca-Cola is the only thing that is painful, but not a regret, because it's not that I made a mistake. No.
That you've certainly learned something.
You can't learn from COVID, because now you hear of mpox. You know? If we are all going to be worried that COVID may come, it means no one will do anything. We must be able to calculate, take the steps, and if disasters like these fall, there should be a system that helps us to get out. If you go to Japan, Toyota was making losses for 20 years, and the government kept putting money in Toyota for 20 years. Today,
Strategic investment
yes,
for the country.
Today, Toyota speaks the language of Japan louder than any diplomat of Japan. So there has to be an understanding of the strategic trajectory of a country. I am not government, I'm not in government, so I cannot tell government what to do, but I would hope that there are some strategically positioned people to look at the things that put image of Uganda, and those need to be protected.
Now, Stephen, what was the repayment period for this loan?
10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
We've done roughly 5 now.
Yes.
And,
but you see, we have been asking them, remove the penalties, remove the interest, and we pay even in half of that period.
Okay. In the remaining 5 years?
Yes, or even less. Because we can.
You can.
Yeah.
There is potential for
but
that.
they are not listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But could maybe the problem had you ever taken a loan of this size before? 6.8.
No.
The previous ones have been
the previous ones
smaller.
have been, yeah.
500, 200.
Yeah, because we had not grown to this magnitude. Yeah. I'm afraid I have to.
So we are finishing. We are really finishing. We are really finishing. So you previously made an appeal to the president, and your story has been loudly told in the national newspapers in the last few days. Have you had any feedback or response from the president or anyone from State House?
I'm still waiting.
Okay. You haven't heard from anybody from government so
Still
far?
waiting.
Okay. And I'm sure they know this place. They have been here before.
Yes. Even the president has been here 3 times.
For what, sir?
We had a festival. He was chief guest at
You
our
invited
festival.
him and he
yes,
came?
three consecutive years. The first lady has been here. The army always holds their functions here. The new CDF has been here. They all know it.
And they have paid their bills.
Yes.
You've not had problems with your clients?
Well, that's
those are details.
Those are private clients.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then the other issue, there are people who have been assisted before. People who are doing the same
I don't
business.
want to do other people's.
I get you, sir.
No.
Because people like Igongo in Imbarala has faced this problem.
I don't know. I didn't know. I've heard about it, but I don't delve into how other people run their business.
Because I thought you would consider speaking to them to say, hi guys, how did you manage?
No. I want to concentrate on what I'm doing.
Okay, sir.
I don't want to
compare with other people.
No.
So what exactly would you want the president or government to do in this situation?
2 things. Either waive this, bail us out, remove this law, because if they removed it, then we can complete the other facilities, because our goal is to turn this cultural center into a kind of university that teaches our heritage. Now, if they take off this loan, we quickly come to realize this dream, because we are playing about with gold, and what I mean by gold is our indigenous knowledge. And this gold is going to disappear. The elders who know these things will soon die, and it's not written down, they will go with it. But even I, who know and can structure and teach, I am not immortal. So if they remove the loan, then I can focus on these developments quickly. Because as I told you at the beginning, the purpose was to create businesses that would make profit, and the profits would come here to do the cultural and educational activities. I can go back to that level and make sure that this country has a resource that even schools can tap into to get cultural knowledge, publishing books that become reference materials for teachers, and then they can be able to put our cultural knowledge into the curriculum, because there is a place which generates the knowledge. This is time bad. We are late. So if they take away the loan, I can concentrate on this. But if that's not possible, government can buy shares.
Become a joint venture partner.
Yes, they have UDC. They can bring in money, take a percentage, we pay the loan, then we are co-partners. Or C, they can tell the bank, it's a government bank,
to restructure,
remove the penalties, remove the interest, give them this period, and they pay. Those are the 3 things.
Option.
Yeah.
Very good, sir. Then briefly going back to so many years ago, why did you choose to name it Ndere? What did that name depict and represent?
Ndere comes from the word Ndere, which is a flute, or mulele. For me, Ndere has beautiful music. Flute has very, very good music, but most importantly, it's the only instrument that exists in all the cultures of the world. Uganda used to have a lot of conflicts, but the conflicts were always either on tribal or religious lines. So I was looking for something that would promote unity, something that everyone can relate to. Because if you have seen Ndere performing, the whole country, all the cultures are in our show. So what was the symbol that shows this unity? All human beings all over the world have different colors on the external, but if you cut the body, the blood inside is red. That's the sign that we are all human beings. So the fact that we all can enjoy a flute was the unity symbol that I could find, which everyone could relate to, so that we all focus on what unites us rather than what divides us.